Okay, here's our video on linear equations in standard form. So we've been doing linear equations in slope-intercept form. So if you remember, y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, b is the y-intercept, and x is the independent variable, and y is the dependent variable. So here, just as an example, we have the slope as 2, and the y-intercept as 5. So if we did a rough graph, let's do a rough sketch. So here's a sketch, and many of you on the past assessment did not know the word sketch. Sketch is a drawing, right? So on this rough sketch right here, and this is the y and that's the x-axis, make a better x. So we know that it's going to cross at the 5. So there's the 5. So we know it's crossing at the 5. We know it's positive because it's a positive slope. So it's going up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1 each time. So just a rough graph of this, we would have a line like that. Okay. Now there's also now slope, well this is slope-intercept form, but there's also standard form. So in standard form, we have something like this. So in standard form, the x and y are on one side. And the b, in this case, we just put these letters A, B, and C. It doesn't matter what these letters are. But in this case, right here is the y-intercept. It's on this side, all by itself. So here's an example of one. We have x and y together. So that's the key. When x and y are together, that's standard form. So the 12 here would represent the y-intercept. So we can take this standard form, and we can make it into y-intercept form, or slope-intercept form. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the y is by itself. So to do that, we have the x in the way. So I'm going to minus the 6x. Take the 6x out. We want the x and the constant out of there. And we'll bring it on this side. So now we have 3y equals negative 6x plus 12. Now you're saying, well, where'd that come from? I thought it was 6x. Well, we minus the 6x. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other side. 12 minus 6x can also be written as negative 6x plus 12. Now, convention, the way it's normally written, is you want the x first. I mean, this is perfectly fine, but we normally write it like this. So now the y needs to be by itself, and it's not. The 3's in its way. So I'm going to divide the 3 out. Now the y is by itself. Remember, whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. Okay, so let's lift this up now. So what we're doing here is we're going to divide, actually, these two numbers here. So what we're really doing, we're saying this. Y is going to equal negative 6x divided by 3 plus 12 divided by 3. Okay? So now we can say, here, 3 goes in the 6. It goes in twice, but there's a negative. So we're going to have negative 2x. And 3 goes in the 12 4 times. This is our answer. This is in slope-intercept form, and this was in standard form. Let's do another one so you're comfortable with that. So let's say we had, just make one up here. Let's say we had 25x. We'll do plus 5y, and we'll say it equals 100. This is in standard form. Let's make that straight. Okay, so again, we want the y by itself. The x is in the way. So what should we do? We're going to minus the 25x. Again, whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So let's bring this down now. Now, of course, you can't combine unlike terms, and if there's an x, you can't combine it with a constant. So this is going to be 100 minus 25x. Or we can say minus 25x plus 100. So let's bring that over so you see it. There we go. Now again, 100 minus 25x is minus 25x plus 100. What's the next step? Well, we want the y by itself, so we're going to divide out the 5. And we're going to divide out the phi on both numbers here. So we can say y equals negative 5x. So 25 divided by 5 is 5, but there's a negative there. Plus 20. 500 divided by 5 is 20. So again, we've taken standard form up here, and we made it in slope-intercept form. So you should review the video on that if you didn't understand it. Now let's look at a word problem. Let's see, say you had this. Manny wants to buy a new phone, whatever it is, Samsung, iPhone, whatever the new thing is. He got $50 from his birthday, and he wants to save $25 a month. And the phone costs $630. So we know his initial, in this case it's not a fee, it's not an initial fee, but the initial amount is $50. That's what he got. That's the slope-intercept. Excuse me, that's the y-intercept. So this is the initial amount. That's constant. He's getting $25 a month. 25 is the slope. That's the rate, $25 every month. And 630 is the y. That's the final cost. So we can make an equation with this. Again, the y is the cost, 630. The x is the amount of months. $25 is the rate, the slope. Remember, the rate and the slope are the same. The initial fee, in this case, the initial amount is $50. So if we wanted to make an equation, we'll write it over here. We know that $630, that's what we want to get, equals $25 x plus 50. So now we can find, in this case, we're looking to see how many months he has to save. So we can minus the 50 on both sides. Okay, let's get another piece of paper here. So we'll bring it right here. So now we're minusing. Remember that. So we're going to have 630 minus 50. Okay, that's 580 equals 25x. Bring that up now. And we can divide out the 25. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. Now we're saying 580 divided by 25. So that'll tell us the amount of months. So that'll be roughly 23.2 months. So basically he has to save 24 months. He has to save 2 years if he wants to get this phone, if he's only going to use $25 a month. Or he should just buy a cheaper phone. Because in 2 years, the phone he's probably trying to buy will probably be out of date. So in this case, with this word problem, it was best to use slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. It was laid out perfectly for that. Now some word problems, sometimes it's best just to use standard form. So let's do a word problem where we can use standard form. So let's say we're having a pancake breakfast. Who doesn't like pancake breakfasts? Let's say the Knights are having a pancake breakfast. So 400 adults and 200 children are going to be there, let's say. So we want to know, what should the ticket prices be if we want to raise $8,000? So in this case, we can use standard form. We can say, 400 adults, 200 children, that's why we have A and C, and we want to make 8,000. So we can have 400x for adults and y for children. So here we have it in standard form. Now we can put it in slope-intercept form. So see if we can do that. So let's get the y by itself. Let's minus the 400x. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So I'm going to have 200y equals minus 400x plus 6,000. Bring that over. Now the y is not by itself again, so I have to divide out the 200. I'm going to divide that by 200, and we're going to divide this by 200. So now y is by itself, and we're getting slope-intercept form. So negative 400 divided by 200, we're going to have a negative 2x, and we're going to have 6,000 divided by 200. I think we meant 8,000, not 6,000. Let's double check the question. Yes, it was 8,000, not 6,000. I put 6,000 here. That should be 8,000. That would be a 40 then. That would be 40. So what does this mean now? I'll just circle this. This is in slope-intercept form. Okay, so here we can make x anything. So x, we said, was the adult price. If we make x $1, let's say we're going to charge each adult $1. If in that case, we're going to have y equals negative 2 times 1 plus 40. So y has to equal negative 2 plus 40, and y would have to be 38. So if we charge each adult $1, we have to charge each child $38. And we know that probably should not be the case. Most of the time, children pay less anyway. But if you did that, that would equal out the 8,000. Let's go back here. Remember, we were saying 8,000, not 6,000. So if we plugged in 1, we have to plug in 38 for the children. So here we have $400, because 400 times 1 is 400. Plus 200 times 38 is 7,600. So 7,600 plus 400 will give us our 8,000. So you probably don't want to use 38 and 1, but that would, of course, make the equation true. So you can play around with how many adults what should the adult price be, and what should the children price be, the child price be. So for example, again, let's write this over. Clean that off. We have 400 A for adults plus 200 C for children, and we want it to equal 8,000. And we already know in slope-intercept form, it's y equals negative 2x plus 40. Right. So if we say, let's say we want the adults to pay $20. What would the children pay? What would the children pay? Work that out. Okay, now if the adults paid $20, that's negative 40. Negative 40 plus 40 is 0. The children would be free. It would be free for children if you expect 200 children to show up. Okay, so that's standard form. We went from slope-intercept form. We went from standard form, that is, and we wrote the equation into slope-intercept form. So you should know how to do that and to understand the different word problems. Okay, great job.